Are you ready?
Quit time!
We are the best in the world at what we do.
It's the PriMalLow Wrestling Show with Robert Price, Tom Malloy, and your host, Rich Lopez.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 41 of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Rich Lopez, here with my two colleagues, Tom Malloy and Robert Price.
Hello, hello.
Episode 41, and we're still not done.
We are definitely not done. It's about 2 weeks into the new year. Hope you guys are going strong with your New Year resolution. And I'm kind of interested to see about the Raw ratings, which obviously we're going to recap today with the Brock Lesnar appearance and a new U.S. champion crown. But like I said, I'm interested to see about the ratings because of the college football championship game, so we'll talk about that. And then, as always, we're going to have our topic discussion, and this concerns the Viper Randy Orton, this future Hall of Famer. Will he be at WrestleMania 32 since he's been declining reports of a neck surgery?
Then we're going to phone it in for another week with Mike Danilovich taking on a question that he submitted to us. And we're also going to remake the Royal Rumble in 92 was for the WWE Championship. In 2016, as we know. What other year would we, as the PriMalLow crew, make it?
Then we'll conclude our show with our self-high five. Favorite surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble history.
Hope you guys stay tuned. After this short break with Kevin Owens' theme song, we will recap Raw. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's time to recap Raw. Like I said, it was heavy competition ratings-wise last night with the college football championship, Clemson and Alabama. I guess their main marketing thing was the return of Brock Lesnar, who is now entered in the Rumble. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Malloy, what did you think about Raw last night? If you saw all of it or whatever you saw.
I watched the whole show. I give it like a 6 out of 10. It wasn't nothing special, but it still delivered to the point.
Okay, Price, how about you?
I thought it was good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was not really a big fan of it. That's also because I was flipping on and off. Obviously, I'm a sports fan, so I was watching the game. But I just didn't think it was anything appealing. It was the same stuff over and over. But
It's been the same stuff for like the past month and a half.
Exactly. So I just figured I could spare this one. The go-home episodes next week, so whatever. But let's just go, I guess, to more specific things on Raw. Brock Lesnar made his return. What was the storyline? I like I said, I watched half of it. Paul Heyman wanted the champion to face Lesnar at WrestleMania, but McMahon wanted him in the Rumble. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Like that little mini storyline on Raw.
I think from that point, Lesnar should have to be in the Rumble. I mean, he hasn't done anything this year to clarify himself as being the main event of WrestleMania.
I completely agree with you. Price?
We were actually a fan. J.W. Caldwell called him 50 Shades of Grey Lesnar.
Why?
I think he might be a little bit like his presence of, oh my God, Lesnar's coming back is starting to kind of fade off.
I think it's awful now. That's what I was telling my girlfriend. I was like, I don't understand why they make him look so dominant. He's not dominant anymore to me.
And
he's
it's
old.
Christine, it's not Chris.
I said Christine.
You stopped yourself. I want everybody to know that your girlfriend's name is not Chris.
Christine, sorry.
There
But
we go.
anyway, I just don't think he looks dominant. I don't know what they get out of it, especially with the, hurt roster like this. You can't really make anybody look extremely dominant. I think with all the injuries, you should make everybody look more even, so it makes more compelling storylines. But also, Chris Jericho made another back-to-back appearance with his highlight reel, which was the New Day and the Usos. What do you guys think about that?
I thought it was well done with Chris Jericho with his late '99 insult, especially since a lot of people got insulted with his back of the bus.
So stupid.
Back of the bus friends. I mean,
at least he had people. people on Twitter backing him up.
Did
Like
you see
the
the
Usos.
Usos? Did you see the Usos
Usos.
picture? It's like they
The
have a bottle of
Usos,
Grey
yeah.
Goose
Not
in
the
their mouth.
Usos.
awesome.
Usos and the Dudley
Uso
Boys.
crazy.
So that's what I'm saying. Like at least they backed him up, and they're multi-race.
They backed him
You know what I mean?
up from the back of the bus.
Exactly.
There we go.
Is it just me, or do you guys think that Chris Jericho is losing his? I guess like when he came back, like the last couple times, you'd be like, all right, he can still wrestle, so it's okay to have him back. But now for me, it's just like I don't know. I think he's getting like stale. If that makes any sense.
His surprise is going away.
Okay. So it's not just me.
But his surprises are like, it happens again, times 10.
Times 10. Also, which was a rare title change, which didn't we talk about that after Reigns won? Like, they don't really do title changes on Raw. I guess, like I said, they try to shake things up with the rating competition. But Kalisto defeated Del Rio to become the new U.S. champion. What are your thoughts on that, Malloy?
I liked it. I really think it makes for a good storyline. I mean, they could both wrestle very well. Kalisto's I could see him someday in the future even getting the world title, kind of like a Mysterio thing. He's kind of like the new Rey Mysterio of the ring, and I think it's the right direction to put him in because Sin Cara is out of action at the moment because of a shoulder injury.
Excuse me, go Bryce.
I think that it was the fact that they weren't able to get Rey Mysterio. They're just going to plug him in, and also not to just pretty much repeat what Tom said, but it's just an option. It's just something that they did just because Sin Cara is hurt. So they were like, "Oh yeah, we could just give you the title."
I'm thinking it's
and
just
they free up
Del Rio
ADR for the Rumble.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I was also thinking, like I said, there's a rating competition, so they wanted to do something just to make you flip channels, I guess. I really think Del Rio's going to win it back at Rumble. I could be completely wrong. I just, like I said, I think it was just a ratings thing, like a Mankind thing. What were you going to say?
Oh, you stole my thunder. I was going to say, if they really wanted to do that, they should just gave Mankind the belt.
Oh, yeah.
That would put some butts in seats.
Definitely. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts. I mean, he does deserve it, and, like, it was like a 50-50 thing. The ratings thing, and then Sin Cara is out. But at the same time, I thought it was more ratings thing because they could have did the same thing with Titus O'Neil and whoever else is half tag team.
However, if you check on our Facebook page, there's a little thing with before Kalisto went to WWE, him and Prince Puma, or whatever his name is, Puma from Lucha Underground, having a crazy chain wrestling match.
Really?
Yes.
I'll have to check it out. Because I know you always post the videos.
From PWG, I believe.
Okay, I'll check it out. And then finally, I guess because I didn't know why they did it so early this year. They usually do it after Rumble, but I realized that tickets go on sale like Friday, so I guess they had to pull that first inductee into the Hall of Fame, and it's probably one of the biggest names. Arguably the biggest name in WCW, probably the most popular WWE name, and arguably in 2015, which was the man they call Sting, the vigilante, the icon. Price, I know you're a big Sting fan. What do you think about that?
I think that for anybody that just watched just WWE, the man's 1 and 2.
That's what I was going to say. You're kind of questioning.
However, they need to change like the name of the Hall of Fame to the WWE Wrestling Hall of Fame, like the wrestling in general, not just WWE. Because if we're just going off of WWE,
that's what I was going to tell you. Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to bring that up. Do you think this is the start of the WCW wing, or they do a celebrity wing?
It might be.
A lot of people were saying
because
they
Vader's been saying for a couple of weeks off of Twitter that he's going.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not saying this whole year is going to be WCW thing. Like Vader could be next year as the WCW edition, and then DDP, Booker T, so forth.
But I mean, when you look at it, they have even NWA stars that never wrestled in a WWE ring.
That's true.
But what I was saying
doesn't really make any sense.
It's happening more and more often.
They might change it in the future. I'm sure somebody's going to bring it up. What are your thoughts on that? I know you're a big Sting fan too.
I think it's a great thing. I mean, he should have been there years ago, but I mean, fortunately he's there now. I could see him still having a couple more matches left in him. Maybe 1 or 2.
I was going to say, is this a little tease for something?
I think it might be. And the thing that sucks though the most is I was hoping it was going to be Owen Hart, and I also think the year Owen Hart does get in the Hall of Fame, it should be him leading the Hall of Fame. Obviously Sting's going to be leading the Hall of Fame class this year.
No, definitely. The trouble with that though is that's the reason why Kevin Nash was the quote-unquote headliner this year, is because they don't want to close out the show
on a sad note,
a dead wrestler.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows Macho Man should have been the headliner, but he obviously wasn't there. So
especially with his brother.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I also think that Sting's well deserving of it. I thought it was more of a tease because, I mean, obviously he deserves to be in there, but I think it's for something else.
He's going around to multiple wrestling news sources and podcasts and all over the place saying, "Oh, I can't wrestle anymore," and he had the same surgery that Mike had. That Mike, who's submitting a question later on, Sting will wrestle again.
No, I think he will too. I just don't know if he'll be back in time for Mania 32.
Might not.
And I don't think he will be because I don't think they'd put him in the Hall of Fame if it was
definitely not.
I'm thinking 33.
I think 33 is going to be the best WrestleMania ever because everyone's going to be healed.
They're going to have to. And I think, excuse me, because of the schedule that they did this year, I think they're going to look back on this and kind of ease it up, getting ready for the WrestleMania season. So everybody will definitely be healed next year. Any more thoughts on Raw? Anything like the closeout segment? Anybody enjoy that? I heard Owens on a TV promotion. I forget where they're at. Somewhere in Louisiana. He said he didn't like how Lesnar was in his business and he might go after him. Wink, wink. 32.
That little brawl there was, even though it was like 30 seconds.
Sheamus, when Sheamus was beating up Lesnar, I thought I'm kind of intrigued.
Did you guys see the live event match? You guys get a chance to look at the live
I heard about it, though.
It was actually pretty good. Sheamus held his own.
Mm-hmm.
I heard
he
that
could if
he's a big enough dude.
Yeah, he's a natural heel, so it works.
I heard some ketchup was on Raw last night.
Yeah, right. It was Irish War. That's what Sheamus said.
Okay.
Hope you guys enjoyed that segment. When we come back, as always, we're going to proceed with our topic discussion, and that is in regards to the Viper Randy Orton. Will he be there for WrestleMania 32? Stay tuned. Topic discussion.
Hey, I'm Tom Malloy from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Do you like Facebook? Do you like wrestling? Like our page. Search the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Enjoy.
Welcome back to the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. You can always follow us on social media. I guess I'll say that before we get into this discussion heavy topic. Facebook, the PriMalLow Wrestling Show, always on there. Twitter, at PriMalLow Show. We're also on SoundCloud, YouTube, and Blogspot, excuse me. So you can definitely always look us up on social media. We love to interact with our wrestling fans. All right, Randy Orton. Everybody knows he's a future Hall of Famer. He's kind of, like the co-leader of the post-Attitude Era generation with John Cena. Obviously, it's well known he has a lot of shoulder issues. That's why he's been off TV since October. And then Dave Meltzer reported back in, I don't know if it was November or December, that he might need neck surgery. Well, Orton just came back out earlier this week, late last week, about decline. Like, he does not need neck surgery. And based on that timeline, when he was out in October, it was 4 to 6 months of his shoulder issues, which is kind of like the border for WrestleMania 32. I think he said it's either going to be like late March or like first week of like early May. Do you guys think he'll be at 32?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so. I think WWE is actually going to keep him off TV, just like they're keeping Daniel Bryan off TV, because they're trying to push younger stars. And
how do they push younger stars with Lesnar dominating?
All right, yeah, okay, kind of threw a book at me there.
Sorry.
But Lesnar could help put them over. I mean, he's the most relevant, I would say, I guess, out of all of them.
Do you want to take that rebuttal real quick?
I'll take it real quick. I believe that they are pushing younger stars. They're pushing Ambrose. They're pushing.
That's not rebuttal. You're rebuttaling me. Is that what you meant? You're
well,
agreeing
no,
with
I'm not agreeing with him. I mean, Lesnar, you bring Lesnar in a part-timer just to take the spotlight. I understand that. But also, I do believe that they are pushing younger stars, exactly what he said.
Because I think they're going to put Kevin Owens in the right direction. I think it's going to be
Right.
Kevin Owens versus Lesnar at Mania.
Kevin Owens, you have Ambrose that they're pushing.
Because Lesnar doesn't need to be in the spotlight again.
New Day. Even Titus O'Neil.
Yeah, I mean, especially since Darren Young's out, I guess I can see that. I don't know. I just feel like when Cena comes, I feel like Cena was going to get a push in the Rumble. Lesnar came back, dominated the whole mid-card roster / main event roster, if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, New Day, he dominated them, main eventers. If you clearly look at the roster now, they are main eventers.
No,
you look at Kevin Owens, he is pretty much the main eventer. Like, the Intercontinental title is so much more prestigious now than it has been in the past.
I think it is because of that feud, too.
Yeah.
But, so you really think that they don't need Orton? Is that what you're saying?
They will need him after WrestleMania to help build the stars into the future. But I don't really... Unless he comes back at the Royal Rumble and eliminates some opponent, that's when it'll be vital to see him at WrestleMania or not.
I mean, you look at him on the card. I mean, he last time he main evented was what, 25, and then after that,
like the actual last match.
right?
Yeah.
And then after that, he started jumping down the card to first match, second match.
Yeah, I mean, he's
So-
always been one to push over talent, though.
He's good.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he's good. But I just think if they're not going for the attendance record, if they're like, okay, we don't have enough people, let him rest. Let this be.
Oh, so you're saying
New
depending on
generation.
marketing strategy,
Right.
you keep him or push him to go?
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be there because, especially, the reason why I'm saying that is if Cena was available, they don't need him. I just feel like they just can't bank on, even if the arena is so big that they only sell 80,000, that's not enough seats, I feel like. I really feel like this is a bad year to fill that arena up because that arena is a big arena. They need to just they need to push whoever they can that's willing to rush a timeline, like their recovery timeline. So I think he will be there.
It'd be a great time to see Lesnar versus Brock, or Lesnar versus Randy Orton.
Yeah, I've always said like we've talked about that.
We never saw it.
No.
I mean, even if
Actually, that's a match that Rich made in a very, very early
yeah.
baby stage of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show.
Yeah, that was I think the week after. Remember we said 5 WrestleMania matches we want to see next year.
Yes.
That was one of them. Unfortunately, if Lesnar wasn't so stiff, I mean, I'm sure Orton's always game for it, but I don't know how you'd feel like it'd be one of his first matches back. Probably his first match back.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd like that. I would love to see that match. I just want to see Orton there since Cena's not, because whenever I see one of them, it just goes back to that generation that we're slightly ahead of what's going on right now. But all right, so you're a no-go.
yeah, I'm a no-go on that.
No go.
I'm a go with Orton. Real quick, any other wrestlers you think that can possibly make, like obviously, excuse me, Cena's out. Sting, there hasn't been reports of any injury timeline, but there's still Cesaro maybe on the waiting list. Sasha's been rumored to be hurt. Paige has had a concussion as of late. Rusev's been hurt multiple times. Do you see any? And then Rollins is out. Do you see anybody rushing?
Rollins.
You think Rollins?
I think Rollins, but I don't think.
Daniel Bryan, another one. Sorry,
I think Rollins.
Rollins.
I see Daniel Bryan coming back, but I just don't know where they put him. Maybe the whole thing with Rollins too. The injury could have not been as bad as it's reported.
Yeah, I
And
think-
kayfabe it, come back, main event WrestleMania again. I mean, you don't know. You just don't know where to put it.
Yeah. What's up?
Yes, I believe that WWE is starting to do the injuries a little bit more than what they are.
They should. Actually, you never know. They might have always done that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they
they
just
They did in the past.
That's
but
what I mean, but, like,
then
now on
then it was like
reporting-
an open book of like, oh, he's out for 6 months.
And I mean, Rollins is good enough with the company where maybe he could get an extra time off because I mean he does have his own wrestling school and everything else to take care of.
Rollins?
Yeah,
Really?
Yes, he does.
I didn't know
it's down in
that.
Wisconsin. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know. I figured it'd be biased. I think he was raised in Iowa, so
Yeah.
I think that's
We all
close.
have a
I don't
mutual
know.
friend that is going to be attending there soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you smiling?
Yeah, Louis Honeywell says he's gonna go down there sooner or later.
Oh, okay. That is one of our friends, and if you're listening, what's up, Louis? But yeah, I think Cesaro's gonna be one to possibly make it. Depends on if he makes Rumble or not for me, and I think Orton's gonna make it. Obviously, I think Sasha's gonna make it because that's her time to get the belt.
But I don't think she's going to be in the Rumble match.
She definitely won't be in the Rumble match, but well, you never know. I mean, Karma's been in there, Beth Phoenix has been in it, Chyna's been in it. Can we say her name? I'm not sure.
I'm gonna be in it.
Tom Lloyd's gonna be in it, but it's be interesting to see what injured superstars will be at 32, if any at all. When we come back, it's time to answer your questions in our PriMalLow Mailbag, where we're gonna answer from Mike. So stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Robert from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show, here to tell you about our Twitter account. Follow our page at PriMalLow Show for fan interaction regarding professional wrestling. Thank you, and we can't wait to hear from you.
Welcome back. It is time for our third segment of episode number 41. It is our PriMalLow Mailbag. This is how it works. We just pretty much we look at social media, all that good stuff, take a question, and just answer it and talk about it. This week it's Mike. He's giving all these good questions, so we have to include him. But next week, I promise, we'll
Change it up.
Yeah, we'll change it up. But here's a question from Mike.
What age do you think a wrestler is in his prime? Do you think it's younger when he or she might be more athletic? Or do you think it's older when they become more skilled?
Okay, there you heard it. What age do you think wrestlers are in their prime? And would you prefer like your Hulk Hogan type guy or John Cena type guy to be younger or older? And please explain, I guess.
I'll go first.
Thank you.
I
Lloyd just spilled his drink. He tried to do a Steve Austin. I guess I forgot to leave him out. But Price, go ahead.
I would go with the younger.
How old?
I think like 27, 28.
Are you going with the
Your
majority of the champion holders?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that you're groomed enough at a younger age, about 3-4 years in the biz,
Yeah.
in the big major leagues, that's when you're in your prime. I think like you see like Cena, I don't really think he's in his prime still. I think he's on the down.
No, he's definitely on the down.
downhill.
Yeah, I thought you said he wasn't there yet. I was like, what?
No. But then you look at other people like Undertaker, who wasn't really in his prime in the 90s.
I think he was in his prime in the 90s.
I
I would say
early
like
90s.
97. He was
Yeah,
in his prime.
in the early 90s.
That's late.
When
90s.
no, listen.
yeah, listen,
I'm
yeah.
saying early 90s when Undertaker first came in.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been just his gimmick. He was choking people, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then you fast forward to like 99, 2000, even 2008.
2008.
Yeah, 2008.
That's a big prime, dude.
That's because he's a big guy.
No, it's because he was on the schedule that long. See, for me, if you want to go on years of Undertaker, I think 97 to 99.
I think we all agree with 97 because my image of Undertaker is the going crazy on Mankind in the.
I can give you 96
too.
though. I can give you 96 though. What do you think before you drop the can?
Yeah, my bad. I think overall though, I can't really say age wise. I could say like I could talk about like the current roster, like past wrestlers. Like The Rock, I felt like that he was in his prime when he first got the belt.
Okay.
I think once you get like that,
so what you're saying,
So
27.
majority of
older.
the majority like when you get that belt for the first time, like the big title, or like someone who's like Dean Ambrose. He's in his prime right now, even though he's never held the big title yet.
No, I know. So you're agreeing
Or
with Price,
or
27, 28.
Orton like right after Evolution.
Well, if you think about that too, what's crazy with Orton, because he's my prime example. He was 24 when he won the World Heavyweight, right?
Yes, he was.
But when did he actually win the WWE title, like the big title? 4 years later in 08. He's 28. Do you know what I mean?
So yet again, I guess you'd say 28. Yeah, even Triple
Sorry,
H. Triple H
2007.
was,
Excuse me, 2007 he won it.
Because Triple H was 29 when he got the belt, I think, for the first time.
Yeah, 29-30.
And Michaels was like 26.
I don't know Michaels. I don't know how old he was.
Michaels is 51 now, so.
Well,
So
you
it's
could-
around the same.
you could
roughly
do-
around the
you
same.
could
Tom
do-
Malloy dropping knowledge.
But you can tell because Rollins is like 28, 29. That marketing's not dumb when it comes to, if you're gonna put the belts on the guy, you want to make sure he can. If he had to hold it for a long time, he did. You know what I mean? Like their body is in their prime, so they can take all the bumps and
because
stuff.
even unfortunately though, Kevin Owens is in his prime, I think, right now.
He is. He's 31.
Yeah, so I
But
mean,
but think of all the part timers and all the guys that will be leaving soon. He'll be fine. Finn Balor's the one I'm worried about because he's already 31.
Yeah, he's 31.
And he hasn't even been on the roster yet, and that's what they're worried about too. But yeah, I think Yokozuna was 26, right? And Undertaker, they're all that. You know what I mean? So the prime, I would say, it's just like an athlete. I get like a sports athlete.
It's like anyone's
football player.
life, though. You think anyone's life in general, their prime's like their mid to late 20s.
Yeah. But do you would you be opposed to putting a title on somebody younger or older?
No, I mean, if they're
Because
younger,
Orton wasn't ready when he won the World Heavyweight.
exactly what I was gonna say. You're stealing the things from my mouth again.
Sorry.
Jeez, no, we can.
Sorry.
But you have the younger people. Sometimes they're not ready. I mean, should they throw the WWE title, World Heavyweight title, on Undertaker again? No.
No, okay.
But
Be cool.
I would go younger than older. Because
Younger than-
you
okay.
have these guys who are 35, 40 years old having the title. Their body's not going to be able to take
Oh, the
360 days a year.
Yeah, hence why Lesnar had it, and he wrestled once every 5 months. That's a great question, Mike. I like that one a lot because I always think about stuff like that. And I also like to compare generations of primes and other primes, which we will talk about next week. Teaser for the PriMalLow Mailbag. When we come back, it is time for PriMalLow Remake. We've taken a couple weeks off, but we're bringing it back. And that is, what year, if we had to choose another one, that is, would we make the Royal Rumble match for the WWE title? Stay tuned. Hey, I'm Rich Lopez from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Don't forget to hear our new episodes of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show on SoundCloud. Episodes are uploaded every Tuesday night. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for still tuning in. It is time for our PriMalLow Remake. We haven't done it in a couple weeks, so we're bringing it back now. As you guys know, 2016, the Royal Rumble match is for the WWE title, and the only time it's happened before that was 1992, where Ric Flair won. The difference is that 92 was vacant. This year is actually somebody defending it. That's why
Bacon's a very strong superstar.
He is the strongest of the superstars.
He is the strongest.
He's had the title more than I think anyone else.
Yeah, only by like one, right? Is it only by like 17? But yeah. So what we're gonna do on this one is, if we could choose another year besides 92 or 2016, what year would we do it, or what year would we choose to have that match for the WWE World Heavyweight title? Price, I can start with you because you have another. Well, we all have honorable mentions if we have time to explain, but go ahead.
99.
Why?
Because you would have had Rock and Austin inside the Royal Rumble match, and you would also have had everybody gunning for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
So you're going with the $100,000 storyline still?
Sure.
Okay.
And then you have The Rock in there.
No
and Vince
Mankind?
McMahon.
No Mankind?
Mankind could be in there too.
Yeah.
Everybody could be in there.
I always forget that Undertaker wasn't in that. It's crazy.
He could be in it too.
Well, I know you would. I know you'd make him. You make him 1 through 30. He'd come out in different attires.
So that'd be Mankind.
I was gonna say that next. That would be your Rumble. This those two. What's your honorable mention? Because I'm intrigued by this. Because you
My
said you would
honorable
change.
mention-
You would keep a year but change the outcome.
92.
So you're keeping the year 92, the first
92.
one.
And I was flip-flopping between Macho Man and Jake the Snake. I'm going to go with Jake the Snake because I like the storyline of Macho Man and Ric Flair at that WrestleMania. Because I think Jake the Snake never had the title.
Okay, I was gonna say
He
that.
knew
Yeah,
the title.
That makes sense.
However, I hope that the
Who-
streak was not ended at that WrestleMania.
I was saying, who is he faced at WrestleMania 8 in?
He
real-
still faces Undertaker, and
Oh.
Undertaker gets the title.
Nice.
Yes.
He's He's going way before 23, WrestleMania 23. He's getting his first title at Mania.
13.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 13. Good call. I always forget that one because of the submission match. That's why. Sorry. Malloy, what year are you picking, man?
I got Royal Rumble 2013.
Okay. Why?
I think, like at that point in time, CM
Are you
Punk
including
was,
Rock? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm still coming the same outcome. Who gets the belt at the end of the night?
The
I'm just
Rock?
going. Yeah. I just think though The Rock should have never. Right after SummerSlam, I think it was. He said he was announcing himself for the Royal Rumble. I think it was on
It was at Raw 1000.
Raw 1000.
Yeah.
I think he should have never announced that. They should have kept that a secret. And like halfway through the Royal Rumble, The Rock comes out. You know, it shows that The Rock still got it.
Yeah.
And he could wrestle.
Now that does make a good storyline
And
because
then CM Punk was
out.
saying, "I'm the best in the world."
Yeah, and
So-
he was out with an injury. So
Yeah.
and remember he couldn't perform at TLC. That would have been cool to say. All right, well since you didn't defend your title at TLC, defend it against 30 people. Out comes Rock. Wins.
And he's,
I like that.
And I think he had a match with McMahon around that time too. So McMahon could have done
I
that.
don't think. Do you? Do you know?
I think
Oh, no,
yes,
if it
he
was-
did. Yes, he did.
If it was
Because
on a
that's
Raw, I
when,
don't know.
Yeah, because
that's
I remember
when
McMahon
CM
was
Punk
beating
hit
him
somebody.
With, yeah.
CM Punk hit the fan.
I thought that was with Ryback.
I just know Vince
McMahon was
McMahon
in the-
beat him with a cane one night.
Yeah.
And it was
No, it was
pretty
a
funny.
match.
Yeah, it was
Are
a
you
match.
sure that wasn't? Was it really? I thought.
I'm
you sure
going with
wasn't
Tom. It
before?
was a match.
It was
Okay.
CM Punk versus.
I thought that was 2011. I could be obviously wrong. Cause
No, I remember.
I get
'cause I remember I was
tangled
telling my
up
buddy
with the
that.
Cena storyline.
Yeah.
But would you have an honorable mention? Do you know?
Honestly, it was hard for me to think of that. Think of any actual Rumble in general, like they kind of all get blurry. Let me think. I'd go with 99. You know, give The Rock a little, show that he's got it. Still have The Rock win the Rumble though, and then have go on later for Austin to somehow get in the main event with him.
Well, just like what they did in February.
Yeah.
St. Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Okay, I like that. Obviously, 99, prime of the Attitude Era. There's a lot of stars there that could possibly win, so it'd be good intrigue.
I'm going for Gangrel.
Gangrel.
Gangrel, dude. It's Gangrel. But no, I do like your 2013 pick. Mine is 2002. That's the year Triple H won. The reason why, though, I think they could have handled the ending of the Invasion storyline a lot better with the titles.
They could have handled the invasion storyline.
I didn't mind the Invasion storyline.
It
I actually
sucked. You
liked
didn't
it.
have anybody, but go
Yeah,
on.
but I mean, everybody was out of their prime anyway. I don't want to see a drunk Scott Hall face off against the Rockers, Austin.
Well,
I'd rather
You
see
saw it 2 years later.
I know, but I mean, I'd rather see a Booker T or
Yeah.
I didn't like that Scott Hall and Austin match. I mean, it was decent with what they did, but I mean,
Austin-
WrestleMania was
Austin hated it. He thought he should have been going against Hogan.
both of them thought it was no, but he said that if he got offered that, he would turn it down because they wouldn't be able to work out a winner.
didn't he almost not make it to that WrestleMania?
No, that was 19. That was the next
good,
year.
good.
But yeah, that for a WrestleMania match, that's like a No Way Out or Backlash match. That's not a WrestleMania match.
But back to your Rumble.
But yeah, I feel like they could have handled the ending of the Invasion storyline better with the champions. I don't know, do something at that December pay-per-view. Because remember, it was the 4 superstars for the tournament
Right.
where Jericho won. I didn't like that. They should have... I mean, I guess you had to do it because you didn't want a whole month without a champion. But
You
I
don't
feel
want
like
to strip two people of a championship.
but they could have merged. Like, I don't know. It's just... I feel like they
Well,
could
wait a
have
minute.
did something.
I like that. Then you're ruining the whole. I can't think of the word, but
I
it's
can
for
tell.
Jericho.
You're drawing it. What about it?
About him being able to defeat both of them.
I know, but I'm saying what I would... Like, I don't know. I just feel like... I just don't know.
Okay, I was just saying because
But,
when he did that, that was his whole thing for like 10 years that he was able to do that.
No, I know. But I mean, I just didn't like
I was
the.
just wondering.
No, I know. I just didn't like that tournament style, and I feel like that's probably the first, maybe 2001 you could say, but that was definitely the first or second Royal Rumble match where multiple stars could have won. Because there was, if you include the title match, it would have been Jericho, Rock, Triple H, Undertaker, Austin, and Kurt Angle.
Wow.
RVD, who was on the rise after the Invasion Angle, and Booker T. So there's like six. That's 6 legitimate people that could have won. So I feel like it would have made the intrigue of the match a lot better. You could have Triple H still won.
If you
still
get rid of
win.
all those W's at the end and put O's, that's woo.
There you go.
But go on.
I honestly think though, if Triple H was healthy at that point in time, Jericho would never became undisputed champion.
That's what I'm thinking too. But I don't know. I just feel like that the way they handled the champions with, I don't know. I just didn't like it. That's why I'm picking 02.
Do you have an honorable mention?
I do, and it's simple. Well, it's not simple. It was either it was one of the first two, 88 or 89. I'm picking 88, and actually the first one, and I actually have a storyline written for this one, and it's Andre and Hogan.
What?
At the last two, and have somebody from the Heenan family just throw Hogan over. Because you ever know, like...
Yeah, because somebody could just run out and just throw you over.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could.
And then
There's only 2 referees blocking the 300-pound wrestler. I mean, they're not going to do anything. But, and that way, it,
illegitimately
doesn't crown a champion, and then you can still have your tournament.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean?
President Jack Tunney strips Andre the Giant of the
title
World
because
Heavyweight title.
he didn't win cleanly, and then there's your tournament for WrestleMania 4.
Nice.
And also gives prestige to the Rumble because the title's on the line. Even though it's not really a clear winner, it gets heat on the bad guy who won, and it makes intrigue for the tournament at WrestleMania.
And Warrior wins it. Oh, no.
Although I've always said Warrior and Hercules should have been in the tournament, even though it wouldn't have been a good match. But that's what I always say about WrestleMania.
It was a terrible match.
Awful match. But I really got to think of a storyline for 2002 when we come back from this break. So if I pause a little bit, you guys know why. When we come back, it's time to close out our show. As always, here's our self-high five, favorite surprise entrance in Royal Rumble history. Stay tuned.
On this day, I see clearly everything has come to life. A better place.
Rich, did you come up with a storyline for the 2002 Royal Rumble?
This is literally off the cuff. That's
After
why
15 minutes, it's off the cuff.
it wasn't 15 minutes. It was literally like 15 seconds. So, I mean, this is off the cuff.
Come on, sponsors.
All right. I have remember the end of Survivor Series in 01 where so I'm just saying the champions of WCW and WWE were Austin Rock, right?
Yep.
Okay, so since it never happened again until 03, but you wouldn't expect it to happen in 03, have it at that December pay-per-view. Okay?
Okay.
Have McMahon come out during the match or whatever, try to screw one of the, I guess preferably try to help Rock since he was WWE.
Right.
No. Well, he was. I'm sorry. He had the WCW title, but he was actually a WWE wrestler. Have Ric Flair come out and interfere in that match. Make it a draw. There's your title match at Rumble. Off the cuff.
What?
Works out. I like that idea.
I could think of something in more detail. That's just be off the cuff. Anyway, time to close out our show. Enough about the previous segment, even though I love remakes. Royal Rumble has a lot of surprise entrants, whether it's people rushing injury to come back, as always, like we always talk about. What are you looking at me for?
Nothing. I'm just looking at you.
Oh, what?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Anyway, legends, or what else do I have here? Celebrities. Drew Carey is always one that comes to mind. That comes in, but there's always a good surprise factor, whether they're going to lose or not. It's just a good surprise factor. Mully, you want to give us your 5 through 1?
All right, I got Big Daddy Cool, Diesel. I believe that was 2011, right?
Yes. Yes.
Then I have RVD in 2009.
Okay.
Bubba Ray Dudley in 2014, so I really thought he was going to come back into WWE with the gimmick of Bully Ray Dudley. Roddy Piper in 2008, and all 3 faces of Foley in 1998.
That was really cool. I just wish that was a more star-studded Royal Rumble in 98.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the crowd wasn't into it because I feel like everybody knew Austin was going to win. There was really nobody in that Rumble.
Right there, you have 3 Hall of Famers.
True, I guess. But not trademarked, though. I think didn't he go in as Mick Foley? He didn't go in as Cactus Jack or Dude Love or anybody.
No, he just went as Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Oh, well, guess what?
Anyway, do you want to explain any of those? I know you're a big RVD fan, but
I don't personally in 09. After RVD's little marijuana stint with Sabu, I don't think he was coming back to WWE anytime soon.
okay.
So to me, that was a big shocker. Diesel in 2011, just because he had so many quad. I mean, he tore his quad like every 5 seconds. So
Time was 7 foot. Man.
Yeah, and then Roddy Piper. I mean,
That was a good one. I feel
R.I.P.
like they gave him too much time.
Yeah.
R.I.P. But they gave him and Snuka way too much time.
And Roddy Piper was really out of shape there.
No, I think Snuka was more out of shape.
Yeah, all right, yeah. When I think about it, I just
Yeah.
remember Roddy just having this huge beer gut.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. That is.
I mean, he still can move well, and I mean, it led on to a good match at WrestleMania with Jericho. But
that was the following year, but okay.
okay, whatever.
But
You know,
no,
it was a year in the making.
I'll tell you this: they were in better shape.
Yeah, they were in much
Not
better shape.
Snuka, but Piper and obviously Steamboat.
And Flair, I mean,
Oh.
Flair's always been in good shape. But
Yeah.
surprisingly, I don't know how he does it.
Give me your 3. I want to hear the number 1 too, though. Like explain them.
Just the fact that Mick Foley was eliminated 3 different times was just like, I'm gonna win this.
He was in the Final Four at least.
Austin is not gonna win this. I'm gonna come in as Mankind, Cactus Jack. Well, Cactus Jack he started off with Chainsaw
Yeah.
Charlie,
Chainsaw
right?
Charlie. And they had a great chair for chair
Yeah,
shot match.
Yeah,
that probably took a couple years off of both the men's lives, but
that's a fact.
It's,
Definitely.
I can
It
never
does-
forget that face that Chainsaw Charlie makes when he's anticipating the
Yeah.
chair shot.
Well, he took it though.
And
But,
he oversold it too.
yeah, it was
Watch.
Cactus Jack, Dude Love, and then Mankind. Right? No, Dude Love was last. Dude Love was the last one.
yeah, because
I didn't get that, but whatever. I wish it was Mankind last.
That's because
I just gotta say though, like, imagine going back in the dressing room, like, all right, because Mick Foley was never in shape anyways.
Well, no, he was tired.
Yeah.
It was done right. It was like I think like probably like 14 or 16, 15,
And then-
whatever, and then like
26.
26, 27, something like that. No, Austin was 27, but like 28 or something.
Yeah.
But,
It's
yeah,
so
that's
awesome,
always a good one. It's creative to do. But Price, what are yours?
Speaking of the man, the myth, the legend, my number 5, Mick Foley from 04. Thanks, Rich. Number 4, DDP from 2015. Rumble that's close to all of us in the PriMalLow crew.
That's a fact.
Number 3 and number 2, Booker T and Kevin Nash, because the simple fact that they jumped over from TNA at that point. Everybody thought they were still part of the main event mafia in TNA. Nobody expected them there. Dixie didn't even expect them there. Dixie thought they were going to resign.
Yeah.
And at the 11th hour, they decided, we'll go back. Showed up for the Rumble. Was it magic?
Booker T had a good run after that too. After that,
He had like a
Rumble.
good
He
feud
did.
with Cody Rhodes,
Yeah.
and then he was a commentator
Yeah.
at the Rumble. So
He
I
was the first
surprised.
one to bring prestige back to that IC title that gave Cody Rhodes, when he said he was bringing back the prestige to the title,
Yep.
legitimacy.
Yeah.
Because you actually had somebody who was a 6-time world title holder.
There you go.
There we go.
You're gonna say WCW champion.
5-time.
Yeah.
But, and then you had Kevin Nash, who wouldn't dye his hair for TNA, but
Of course,
his buddy
dyed it,
Triple H said, and he was like, yep, I dye my hair. And then my number 1, I had Edge. Nobody expected him to come back.
No.
And I loved his attire.
What was it?
I think it was orange.
It was orange with the stars. As
Yeah,
well.
the Silver Stars. I believe
Yeah.
I,
it was.
think it was just black and orange.
And then he took out Chris Jericho.
Yeah, set up the feud for 26. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was good.
it was nice.
That was unexpected. Because usually when he was out with injury, he took some time out. Like he took, not the max time, but he'd never rushed it because all the spots he would have to do in those gimmick matches. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he was a superstar that even though he didn't need to do those kind of matches, he just did them because
He did him because he knew that the fans wanted him.
exactly. So
No-
he always took time off when he was granted for injury. Go ahead.
The only other person I wanted to explain was DDP,
Yeah, that's fine. DDP is my
because
favorite
him
WCW
at his
wrestler.
age,
Yeah, how old is DDP?
I don't know. He does yoga.
he does yoga.
Tell me
So
what ages today.
Yeah, seriously.
Terrible.
Because they're talking about.
well, you know what?
primes.
When you're talking about the Rumble, you are by the numbers.
Very
So-
true.
So
Very good.
kudos to Tom.
Good insight on that.
But DDP, for at his age, coming in and moving better than some of the people that are on the roster.
Yeah.
And
It's because of yoga.
right,
DDP
It's,
yoga.
DDP yoga.
There you go.
Their app is out. So I mean, like,
All right. Well,
Yeah.
my 5 through 1, I do have an honorable mention to Booker T and Mick Foley, but I also have the Honky Tonk Man in 01. when he came out, played the guitar, and then he got whacked over the head by Kane. That was just a funny spot.
I always call that Royal Rumble the hardcore Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do call it. But to my actual countdown, my 5 through 1, I have Chris Jericho from Royal Rumble 2013 at my number 5 spot. My number 4 spot, Ricardo Rodriguez from the 2012 Rumble. I have Edge, which you had on your countdown, Price, at my number 3.
Yep.
Beth Phoenix at number 2 in the 2010 Rumble, and then my number 1 is John Cena from 2008. I know it's cliche, but Cena, it was Madison Square Garden, first time it's been there in a long time, Rumble, that is.
Yeah.
If at all. I'm trying to think if there was one. Anyway, 2000. But the atmosphere was electric, and then, like I said, he was injured what was it? Oh, it was a shoulder. I keep thinking it was his back, but that was in 2008 he got hurt. But it was just like the first time where I literally thought like people backstage were panicking on if he was going to make, because he was the main guy. So you didn't know if he was actually going to be at Mania.
Right.
And then here he comes at number 30. It was, and then like I said, that previously off the show, off the record, that psychology of if you win the Rumble, you ideally get 2 months off, even though he still wrestled one match at the February pay-per-view. He still got time to recover and then, make the Mania match work really, really well.
Right.
Other ones, I have Jericho on there. I know, like we always say, he comes back and it kind of takes the meaning off, but I just like the fact that that's one of the very few returns that WWE kept really secretive.
I think that it's more or less now that he keeps appearing.
That's true. But even, like, a lot of stuff, gets to the rumor mills and stuff like that, and you already find out, when somebody's coming back. Nobody knew that Jericho was there. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I give that kind of, credit to creative and people at WWE. Ricardo Rodriguez at number 4, I just like it because it was the opposite of what Del Rio did. Del Rio always drove the fancy cars and stuff like that and was really, really elegant and classy. And then Rodriguez comes out, with like a broken down car, duct tape on it.
It looked like my car.
Yeah,
my old car.
Yeah, definitely. Your car was actually better still. But and then he was just doing the same mannerisms. He had the scarf and stuff like that. It was just really, really cool. And then you already talked about Edge. I'll just finish up with Beth Phoenix at my number 2 spot. Nobody's done it since Chyna. A lot of people compared her to Chyna, but she actually just the way she eliminated Great Khali. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
the kiss and knocked her over the top rope. It was just really cool. And then I like the way she got eliminated with CM Punk, who was a great heel at that time, getting more heat by eliminating a girl. So I can't think of. I mean, do you guys think there are going to be any surprises in this round?
Jake the Snake Roberts.
I know we keep talking about it every week.
AJ Styles.
Yeah?
I don't think that's a surprise at this point.
I don't think it's. How about Nakamura? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his
Finn
name,
Balor.
but I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah.
Tommy. Are we just naming people?
Is
Scott Hall.
You think so?
Hulk Hogan. Mr. America. And Gangrel.
Gangrel. It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully there's more legitimate surprises. Like I didn't really care about Bubba Ray. I'm sorry.
I just thought he was going to come back and be like Bully Ray.
R-Truth messed up the what's up. He says it a million times. He went to the top rope. Forgot the what's up.
Didn't say it.
Didn't say it.
That's great. Well, anyway, stay tuned for next week's episode where we we're going to preview the Royal Rumble card if there is any.
And
I heard there's a list. There's one website with a list of 11 people in the Rumble, and then there's one site with 31.
We should just go off of 31?
Yeah. Wrestling Edge has 31 superstars. Wrestling News Source has 11.
They're probably going to say that, Reigns stays in till the end. Should not happen, but it's going to. And then Vince McMahon's going to come out in Vince McMahon fashion, kind of like when Alberto Del Rio came out to cash in on CM Punk. And they're going to be like, Lesnar, you're in the Rumble. And he's going to go out there. There's going to be one-on-one, over the top Rumble.
I'm just thinking like last year where Reigns thought he won, but Rusev was still outside.
So where would it's only 30 people in this Rumble. So
I just understand where Del Rio came in on your scenario. I was confused.
CM Punk already won the match.
Oh, okay. You're saying that
Reigns would have already won the match if there was 30 people.
You think it'll be Lesnar? I think it'll be somebody else like Triple H.
I think Triple H is getting the title one
that
more
could
time.
be Triple H,
be a
too.
14-time world
Because I think
Triple H
Lesnar's already
or Lesnar.
scheduled, so if Lesnar's not in the Rumble, I think Reigns is already going to, you know what I mean?
Or CM Punk or some huge
CM Punk's in a
out of
video game.
proportion.
He ain't going to be in WWE this year.
No, I mean like somebody huge out of proportion. I never thought he was going to be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe it's Hulk Hogan coming back.
The Rock.
That too.
Triple H, somebody, I know what you mean, like one of these big part-timers.
But also, other than the Rumble, we previewed it last week. The NXT Awards are going to happen this week.
Oh, they're announcing them?
Yes.
Or recap them? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we recapped them. We recapped them last week. I mean,
we
previewed them, so we'll recap them next week.
Yeah, we won't do a whole segment on it. We'll just, I guess maybe
Say what happened
right after the Rumble or something. Right. But yeah, we're gonna mainly focus on the Rumble, and maybe we'll shift our focus to WrestleMania 32. So, Malloy, Price, sign-offs.
Rudy Tooty Booty.
We're too hot to handle, yet too cold to hold.
All right, stay tuned for episode 42 next week.